I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Thanks for joining me tonight on TCM for a double feature devoted to a man who's been a creative force in Hollywood for nearly 60 years. Let me give you some of his credits. For television, he wrote, among other things, sketch comedy for The Carol Burnett Show. He served as executive producer on a seminal police procedural, Homicide, Life on the Streets. For the big screen, he co-wrote Silent Movie and High Anxiety for Mel Brooks. He co-wrote Inside Moves for director Richard Donner. As a writer-director himself, he made Diner and Tin Men. Then there's The Natural, Good Morning Vietnam, Bugsy, Wag the Dog. I could go on, but you've probably figured out I'm speaking of Academy Award winner Barry Levinson. We begin our double feature of his work with the film that earned him that Oscar for Best Director. From United Artists in 1988, Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman star in Rain Man. Rain Man had been in development for years with top-line directors like Martin Brest, Sidney Pollack, and Steven Spielberg attached at various points. Spielberg really wanted to make it, but ran into a scheduling conflict with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, so Spielberg reluctantly had to drop out. At that point, the producers tried to get Sidney Pollack to take over the project, but Pollack was struggling to figure out just how to tell the story. So they called in Levinson, but not to direct. Producers wanted Levinson to read the script and then help them convince Pollack that he was the right man to make the film. Instead, Barry Levinson fell in love with the project, so when Pollack officially passed, Levinson took the job. Rain Man is the story of two brothers. Tom Cruise is Charlie, an arrogant, sketchy, wannabe businessman who needs money. When he finds out his estranged father has died, he returns home expecting to claim his inheritance. Turns out his father has left everything to a brother Charlie never knew he had, Raymond, a savant on the autism spectrum, played by Dustin Hoffman. The film follows the brothers as they get to know each other on a cross-country road trip. Well before production got underway on Rain Man, the plan was for Dustin Hoffman to play Charlie. But that changed as Hoffman developed an interest in playing Raymond. Originally, Raymond was written as a much more outwardly lovable and affectionate character. But through his research into autism and people known as savants, Hoffman learned that for many of them, interpersonal connection is a challenge. Dustin Hoffman asked to have the character rewritten, and he got the changes he suggested. That opened up Charlie for Tom Cruise, who was in the early stages of becoming the biggest movie star of his generation. Rain Man became the highest grossing film at the U.S. box office in 1988, earning 8 Oscar nominations, winning 4 Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay for Barry Morrow and Ron Bass, Best Actor for Dustin Hoffman, Best Director for Barry Levinson. From 1988, also with a couple of truly talented actresses, Valeria Golino and Bonnie Hunt. This is Rain Man. Not too long ago, Tom Cruise shared the story of how he was cast in Rain Man. Had to do with a random sighting of Dustin Hoffman in a New York restaurant. In 1984, before Cruise's breakout hit Top Gun, Cruise was having a meal with his sister in a restaurant when she spotted Dustin Hoffman across the room. She quickly turned to her brother and said, "Go over there, say hello to him." Cruise said no, but his sister persisted. "You know him, you know his movies," she said. But again, Cruise just didn't feel right approaching Hoffman. Then his sister basically threatened him, telling Cruise, "If you don't go do it, I'm going to go over and tell him who you are." Apparently terrified his sister would actually do that, Cruise reluctantly approached Dustin Hoffman, convinced Hoffman would have absolutely no idea who he was. Cruise said, "Excuse me, Mr. Hoffman, I'm sorry." And then Dustin Hoffman shouted out, "Cruise!" The two men chatted for a bit, then Hoffman gave Cruise tickets to see him in Death of a Salesman on Broadway. Cruise and his sister went to the show. Hoffman invited them backstage, where Hoffman told Cruise, "I want to make a movie with you." Well, about a year later, with Hoffman already attached to the film, Tom Cruise got a call to make Rain Man. Coming up Our double feature from filmmaker Barry Levinson continues with a drama he wrote and directed, a personal story about an immigrant family in Baltimore. Avalon is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, Avalon, then A Woman of Paris, and later, Manila in the Claws of Light. Get a grip with TCM tonight.